Fixed rate mortgage payments can fluctuate. An adjustable rate mortgage, or ARM, can be better in select situations over a fixed rate mortgage. We're going to explore the popular misconceptions and weigh the pros and cons of each type of mortgage. Prior to the pandemic, people stayed in their homes for around 7 years and refinanced a little less than every 3 years. Currently, people are staying in their homes for around 13 years and refinancing only to pay off high interest debt like credit cards. So, ARMs are not as popular because people are staying in their homes longer than most fixed rate periods. Despite falling out of popularity, they can still be great tools for some home buyers. ARMs have been vilified and been blamed for the housing collapse of 2008. However, they can still be a great tool to help certain savvy individuals achieve their financial goals over the fixed rate mortgage. ARMs have fixed rate periods for 3, 5, 7, or even 10 years. After that, the rates adjust for the remainder of the period, usually 30 years, according to the market. The longer the fixed period, the higher the rate, and vice versa. However, even the longest fixed period of 10 years still has a lower rate than the fixed rate mortgage. So, what impacts the interest rate after the fixed period ends? The Fed rate controls short term interest rates, which in turn controls inflation. This indirectly has an impact on long term mortgage rates, like the 30-year fixed rate. However, the Fed's lowering the Fed rate does not mean a lower 30-year mortgage fixed rate. So keep that in mind if you're waiting for rates to drop before buying. This also means that your rate after the fixed period could be lower or higher than the fixed period. The rates adjust periodically, usually every year after the fixed period ends, but it could be every 6 months. You'll know these terms before you get your ARM. So the features of the ARM appeal to a specific type of buyer. Despite that, ARMs get no love, especially not from the media. However, financially savvy buyers who know what they're getting into and have an exit strategy and stick with it love ARMs. So if you're moving, an ARM is ideal. I did a mortgage for a pastor whose religious organization relocated their pastors every 5 years. He opted to buy instead of paying rent for $2,500 a month. He was able to build equity by making payments and through home appreciation. While owning the house, he was able to take advantage of the tax breaks for mortgage interest deductions. And when he sold the house, he was able to profit from the equity in his home from making payments and the appreciation in value for the property. So he was able to use that profit and apply it to his next property, which he would not have had if he just chose to rent. However, he had to decide up front if he was going to sell at the end of 5 years or rent out the property. If he did decide to rent out the property and still went into the ARM anyway, he would either have to stay in the ARM and hope for the best with rates, which is not a good strategy, or refinance into a fixed rate or potentially another ARM depending on what the rates were. An ARM is also ideal for someone who can pay off the entire mortgage before the fixed period ends. I did 2 mortgages for someone who received very large bonuses, which allowed him to pay off his homes. He works for a company that reorganizes smaller companies and makes them more profitable and then sells them to other companies. As a result, he receives a share of the profit from the sale as a bonus of a couple $100,000. There's also an interest only option for ARMs. So with this, you only pay on interest, and it's usually a 10-year period. So for a $300,000 house, you can make a payment of $1,500, which is interest only, versus a principal and interest payment of $1,800. It's not a very big difference, and the balance doesn't decrease unless you make an extra payment of just principal. This is not very popular, and I don't usually recommend it, but it is an option. And now we have our fixed rate mortgages. The interest rate is fixed. As a result, the principal and interest do not increase. This is the most stable, and most homeowners have this type of mortgage. The terms are typically 30 and 15 years, although 10, 20, and 25 terms are also common. You can also get an odd number of years, like 27. You would do this if you're in a 30-year mortgage and decide to refinance after 3 years and don't want to pay for your house for more than a total of 30 years. So a 27-year term would be ideal. However, payments can increase with a fixed rate mortgage if you escrow your taxes and your insurances. If these are included in your payment and either one or both go up, then your payment will go up. And that's to make sure that there's enough money in escrow to pay the taxes and insurance once they are due. Having a fixed rate mortgage does not mean your payment always stays the same. An adjustable rate mortgage can be a great tool for someone who knows what they're doing and has a definitive exit plan. Don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions regarding this or any other type of mortgage program.